All right, everyone, welcome to the For the Love podcast. I've just finished today's episode, and so I've just got this like buzzing sort of brain right now. My thoughts are just like kind of on fire because it was such a good conversation with one of my favorite people. And I could have talked to her for 1,000 more hours. I have learned so much from her. She's been a friend for about a decade. And I'm really, really glad that you have hit download today. Really, really glad. Amy's off today. And so let me tell you about my guest today. Although she doesn't need an introduction, I'm giving her one. I've got Austin Channing Brown today. So tons of you already know and love her and follow her. She's a writer. She's a speaker. She's a leader. Definitely changed the game for me. When it comes to understanding and analyzing and discussing race, justice, faith, identity, gender, and the kind of intersection of all of those spaces. You probably know her from her very viral book called I'm Still Here. And I certainly dropped that book in all my channels. We did all kinds of promotion for that book when it first came out. It was so profound. And that really, I told her on this interview, was a bit of a manifesto. And she has somehow topped it with her next book. She's back with her new one called Full of Myself, Black Womanhood, and the Journey to Self-Possession. It's part memoir, it's part manifesto, it's fully liberating. It's not just about surviving systems of racial oppression, although that is the through line, of course. It's about Black women reclaiming their wholeness. And it is profound. It is tender and like meaningful and deep and smart. Parts of it are highly analytical and data-driven, and other parts of it are all heart and soul. It is about loving yourself when you are laughing, failing, awkward, impressive, embodied, and everything in between. Because Black women are whole, right? They're whole women. Embodied and run the gamut of emotions and ways to be in the world. So this is a love letter to Black women who are too exhausted from constantly emptying themselves out to make white environments more comfortable and instead ready to just live wholeheartedly. So we are talking about what it means to be self-possessed, how laughter keeps us alive, and why we have to be done making ourselves smaller, particularly when you are a woman of color. And Austin sets the most beautiful example for what it can look like to live wholeheartedly and be full of yourself. You're going to love this conversation. This is absolutely one to share. For sure. This is such a good conversation starter. We talk later in the episode about how it is no longer her job to educate white people. And in fact, there is no amount of Black education that can overcome white will. So if you want to learn, that's the only way. That is the only way to reverse any inherent bias in your own life, to root out and spot racism in your own structures and systems and spaces, to begin reversing toxic narratives that we've been handed our whole life. The only way to do it is if you want to, if you're a white person. That's it. There's no amount of credible data can do it. Nothing. The only way is that you want to do it and you're prepared to do the work. And so, having said that, putting podcasts like this one today in the middle of conversation with you and some of the friends that you are working through this with, or your family members, your kids, your spouse, whatever, this is one way to start doing it. This is what the work looks like. So I'm delighted to put this conversation in front of you. So proud of my friend. I love her. I learn from her. I listen to her. She means so much to me. So without any further ado, good night. Please let me welcome to the show Austin Channing Brown. I am always happy to see you for absolutely any reason. And you look amazing. And hello.
Hi, hun.
I am so glad to see you. I really
It's
have.
been too long.
Yes.
We haven't seen each other in a while.
I was reading your book yesterday, all of it, read all of it. Yesterday was my day of you. And 10 times as I was reading it, I thought, God, I miss her.
Oh,
I miss her. She's so funny. I miss her. She is so smart. Like, I miss her. She is so fun. Like, all of
I
you
love us
came through.
together.
All of you came through in this incredible book, and we're going to get into it. But I want to ask you this first. So, like, cool. The world right now is
On fire.
it's on fire, and every day is.
Yes.
It's every day is.
The flames are growing.
There's a new spike every day, right? When you just think, well, that's terrible. Then the next
Right.
day, it's also terrible.
Right.
And so I think I would just, before we dive in to everything here, I don't know. I'd like to hear how you're making sense of the world right now and how you are. Both of us are coming up on a season where it takes a lot of energy to put our project into the world.
That's right.
You've got a book coming out in August, and I have
Yep.
one in September, and it just requires a lot of energy and focus and
That's right.
real clear-headed mind about your own message. And the world is not our friend right now because
That's
it is
right.
really hard to hang on to one clear thought right now without
That's
just
the
wanting to
truth.
throw our hands up and be like, what the hell? So I don't really know what my question is, except that I'd like to hear a little bit about your best practices for both staying engaged, managing the daily horrors, and also protecting your softness, your sweetness, your capacity in your own work.
Yeah. As you can imagine, I also don't have a compact answer
Yeah.
for that question.
Yeah. Good. Thank God. Yeah.
Step one.
Yeah.
I wish it was that
So do
simple,
I.
right? The thought that I keep coming back to is that much of what we are experiencing is not new for Black women,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A denial of our citizenship,
Mm.
not new, right? Navigating a police state,
Yeah.
not new. An administration that's against us, not new. Fighting against our rights, not new,
Yeah.
right? And that's not to say that what we're experiencing is normal,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
It's
No, I
like
get the difference.
this is wild,
Yeah.
right? What is happening is wild. The scale at which it's happening is wild. The indiscriminate nature at which things are happening is wild, right? The brazenness with which everything is happening is wild, right? Like everything is wild. Almost none of it is new, right? And because we have actually been here before, it means we can, one, survive, right? It means we can participate in solidarity and mutual aid and declaring what we want and voting, right? All the actions, all the tools that we have ever used still apply today, right? And Black women have yet, even when the world is on fire, found a way to dance among the flames, right? And so that's kind of all I have. That's kind of
so good.
all I have is that we do both. We put out the fires and we dance among the flames. And how we do both, when we do, what we do, people's opinions about how we're doing, what we're doing. A lot of noise around that, right? But ultimately, I think what Black women have learned how to do is put out fires and dance among the flames.
You're
And so
not,
whatever that looks like for individuals, I think that's where we're living for the next couple of years.
Yeah. That's a great answer. And the truest answer, Tyler said the same thing to me. He was like, he's like, Black people are a lot of things right now, but one thing that we're not is surprised.
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like,
there are lots of nuances that are, I don't know what the word is, like not shocking that it's happening, but shocking at the level to which it's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
I get exactly what you're saying.
But we've been here before.
Are all the same.
Yeah.
It's always been the same.
Immigrants have been here before. The LGBTQI community has been here before, right? Like we've all been here before. Women have been here before, right? We've had to fight for reproductive rights before, right? Like we've all been here before.
Yep.
Right. The scale is unusual, but we've been here before. And so we actually do know what to do. It just often feels more overwhelming than usual because of the scale.
You're right. That's comforting, actually. I want to talk about Full of Myself because you've really done it.
I really tried.
It's really good. I texted you last night and I was like, this is your writing at its highest level. I am so proud of you. I'm impressed.
It means so much to me, Jen, because I know if you didn't like the writing, you would have been like, you just be like, you're so pretty. I love looking at your face. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow.
Right. I would say something else.
You would say something true.
You finished a book.
Right.
Yay.
Way to go.
You wrote all the words on your computer. Good. No, I don't lie about good writing.
No, you don't.
And you have just, when I read I'm Still Here, and it was such it seemed like such a seminal work. Like she said it. This has got to be her manifesto. Like this is this complete holistic like analysis.
Yes.
And you've somehow done it again. And so, okay. So people listening obviously have not read it yet because it's not out yet. And we're going to release this episode closer to your release date, of course. But
perfect.
So if you could just come up high for 1 second and give a snapshot of Full of Myself. This is essentially my thesis. This was my goal. This was my aim. This is what readers can more or less expect, like in broad strokes, and then we'll get a little bit more granular. Because the underlines I have, the dog ears that I have, I got stuff. I have thoughts.
Dog ears make me so happy.
So many dog ears.
Make me so happy. Full of Myself. I think I'm Still Here was a lot about awakenings. Right? It is an exploration of the first time I was called the N-word, the first time I learned why my parents named me Austin, the first time I was in a classroom, that didn't fully see me, the first time, right? It's like a lot of like, whoa, what is happening? And trying to make sense, right, of all of it. I think Full of Myself is, so what now? Right? Now that I have embraced my dignity, now that I understand the ways that the world would like to take my dignity from me, right? What now? And my answer is, well, now it's time for me to be full of myself.
I love it so much. Can you please talk about the title? Because it is brilliant and it's smart. It's hopeful. It's joyful. Like you captured a lot in 3 short words. And I really love how you explained it in the book. So I wonder if you could roll that out.
Oh, yes, totally. So most women, period, most women are told not to be full of yourself, right? Don't be arrogant, be modest, be humble, right? And sometimes those specific words, you are acting like you're full of yourself right now. Right? And it just got me thinking about the number of ways in which we have been told that we are too full of ourselves.
That's right.
Right. And the if I had to name that, I would call it an emptying.
Yeah.
Right. That we are expected to empty ourselves so that we can be full of someone else, full of someone else's opinions, full of someone else's culture, full of someone else's truth, full of someone, right? But that so often we are expected to be at the service of others to the detriment of ourselves, right? And I don't want to live that way anymore. I want to live a life that is full of me, full of my thoughts, full of my opinions, full of my desires, full of my pleasures, right? Full of my truth. And I want that for all marginalized people.
Yes.
You know, and that is where full of myself comes from.
This is the poem right at the title page.
Yes.
It's called Poem for a Lady Whose Voice I Like. And it goes like this. And he said, "You're pretty full of yourself, ain't you?" So she replied, "Show me someone not full of herself, and I'll show you a hungry person."
And aren't we?
It's so good.
Aren't we hungry when we're not full of ourselves?
While we're sitting here talking about titles, I want to talk very quickly about structure because nothing pleases me more, I swear to the Lord, than a beautiful structure inside a memoir. I love it. I love a clever structure. I love a repeating pattern.
Yes.
I love when you've built the bones really beautifully and then you hang all the meat on it. And I really love your structure.
Thank you.
I really, really love it the whole time. Every time I turn to a new section, I'm like, God, there it is again. So good. It's so good. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the sections that you titled.
Yeah.
I love myself when.
First of all, let me tell you that the structure was the hardest part of the book.
Really? I wondered if it came to you first.
No. Oh my Lord. Don't I wish. I knew that it wasn't going to be chronological because I'm still here as chronological.
That's right.
And I felt like this one's not supposed to be chronological, but then now we need a structure, right?
Yeah, that's
now we need a structure. And I flew to New York. Like I wrestled and I couldn't figure it out. So I flew to New York to go meet with my person, my editor and my agent. At the end of a day together, still no structure.
Oh boy.
I flew to a board meeting that I had in California, like 1 million writers in the room. Yeah. And they're like, okay, so like, what if you structured it as a cookbook? What if you structured it as like the Bible? What if you structured it as, right? And by the time I left, I was like, okay, there are some thoughts that I haven't had yet. So let me keep digging. And then at some point I saw there's a anthology of Zora Neale Hurston's work that is called I Love Myself When I'm Laughing and I Love Myself Again When I'm Looking Mean and Impressive. And it's a quote from her. And I was like, let me go look up this quote. Like, where did she say this? Why did she say this? Like, what's happening? Great quote, but what was going on? And it turns out she had received photographs of herself. And her response to the photographs was, oh, I love myself when I'm laughing. Yeah. But I also love myself when I'm looking mean and impressive.
It's so great.
And I was like, Zora, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Because you are a Black woman in 1920, 1930, whatever. Totally. And you are not supposed to love yourself when you are laughing or when you are looking mean and impressive.
That's right.
And it was like, bam. It was like I got knocked over the head. When are all the times Black women are not supposed to love themselves?
God, Austin, that is so
We
good.
are not supposed to love ourselves when we're laughing. We are not supposed to love ourselves when we're looking mean and impressive. Right. We are not supposed to love ourselves when we're sad. We are not supposed to love ourselves, right? And so that became the structure of the book.
Perfect. It's just what it should have always been. I mean, it's just, it's perfect and it carries the weight of your stories really beautifully because the stories are weighty. Let's talk about the beginning of the book. We kind of begin in the ER.
Yes.
And, you have a knack for first sentences. I mean, I'll never forget. I'm still here.
I spend a lot of time on first sentences.
First sentences are just, you go really hard and I love it. And so in the first instance, the introduction is the only thing worse than being fired is being asked to fire yourself. All right, let's go.
I mean,
Let's go. Let's get
talk
into
about
it.
embarrassing.
I'd like to hear if you're willing to talk a little bit about that experience, because the way I was turning those pages in knowledge, in recognition, in are you comfortable talking about that a little bit?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's great. I'd like to hear that about that experience for you when it was, because it felt like it became a lightning rod for, to some degree, an evolution of yourself, where you went, I'm not doing this again. I won't do this again.
Yes. I have never been shy about my commitment to racial justice, right? And I have felt called particularly to racial justice in college, right? There was another lightning bolt moment that happened in college, and I knew that's what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. I was earning a marketing degree. I knew I would never be in anyone's marketing company, you know? And I forgot the question already.
I want to hear about that experience.
How am I going?
I want to hear about the experience.
Lord sweet Jesus.
And why this really belonged as the opener.
Consequently, every single place that I worked was a like progressive, nonprofit, save the world, right? We care about justice kind of place, right? So this was, all that to say, this was not like my first job, right? I had done this a few times. And every place that I worked declared that it had a commitment to people of color, particularly Black people. And that was the era of beautifully written mission statements. Okay. Everybody had a diversity mission statement. Everybody is erasing their diversity statements right now, right? But that was the era of having a whole committee figure out your diversity statement, right? To prove that you was ready for some Black folks to come work for you, right? And I had been duped too many times, Jen. I'd been duped too many times. And this was my final straw. This was the last time that I was like, every single time I enter a workplace that claims to care about Black people, people of color, marginalized people, what I discover is all they want is to use me to pat them on the back for the work they've already done.
That's right.
They don't actually want to move forward. They don't actually want to fulfill their mission. All they want is my acquiescence to their plan.
That's right. In fact, if you'll just pause right there.
Yes.
Oh God, can I please let me find it fast. When you were telling this story of being brought in for what had been sold to you as, we want to talk about how to support you better.
We need to support you.
We need to support you better. Come on in. Let's have a call. Turned in very quickly to essentially, they built a case for why you were about to get fired / fire yourself.
That's exactly what happened. There was a judge on one side and an attorney on the other, and neither represented me.
That's right. It wasn't a conversation, and this is something that you wrote that I underlined. You said, there are a few things I've learned in my 2 years here, because that's how long you'd worked there. And one of them is that decisions are never made in the room. Decisions are made in secret white people meetings before the meeting.
Listen.
That seared me, because that is true. It's the same reason it's the secret white people meeting trying to figure out their diversity statement.
Hello.
And then they'll just, let's get it, let's language it, and then we'll bring, the people in, because at that point we will have demonstrated safety or whatever.
Jen, I watched it happen in real time while I worked at this location. I ended up in a meeting that I probably wasn't supposed to be invited to, but I ended up in a meeting where they made a decision on behalf of, there's maybe 5 people, on behalf of the 30 people in our department. But when we got to the meeting with the 30 people, they pretended like a decision hadn't been made and that they were like welcoming the input of everybody. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't. This is a charade.
It's a charade. Yeah.
This is a charade. You all already decided what you're going to do, but you are presenting it as if you are taking everyone into account. And so in that moment when I realized I was being fired, right, I was going to be let go, I immediately felt shame because I wasn't standing up for myself and I wasn't fighting back and I wasn't responding to everything they were talking to. And I was like, this isn't a discussion. This isn't a conversation. A decision was made before they got in this room. Right? And so there's nothing for me to feel ashamed of in my response, because this wasn't actually about me at all. This was about them. And that was essentially the problem with the whole job, right?
That's the problem with the whole job. And that was such a good example, but it's so ubiquitous that
Yes.
that scenario might have been dropped into a church, but the same scenario is everywhere, like in every strata of business and culture, and certainly religious spaces, obviously, that are white dominant and looking for enough people of color in the room to make them feel better. And
That's right.
so you talk a lot about this impulse and this conditioning to dim, if you're
Yes.
a Black person in general, Black women specifically, to contort yourselves into white spaces. And I really, really liked reading about your decision to stop protecting white comfort. It felt really powerful. It felt really strong. Sorry, you're going to endure me sitting here reading your words to you. That's what's happening, and nothing you can do about it. I want to, because you said this with such clarity, with such, you're a no bullshitter, which makes this kind of book perfect, because it's not couched in anything except direct truth.
Yeah, I'm trying to use as few words as possible.
Yeah, the economy of words is what delivers the message with such impact. And so you had been put in a position at this space before you had been fired, to make the white primary leader feel better about a racial mistake. A racial
there was
omission.
a national there was a national racial incident that happened, as happens in America often.
That's right.
And instead of addressing it head on, he decided that we would all pretend like nothing had happened in the news.
And this is, of course, after hiring you, after writing the mission statement, after a very seemingly concerted effort to be a space that is engaged and that cares and that speaks the truth. So it's so incongruent, except it's not.
Except it's not.
And you said, no one is allowed to make rich, powerful white men feel bad about themselves and their decisions. And then you went on a couple of paragraphs later and you said, I was supposed to let the pastor off the hook. I was supposed to offer grace. Whatever power I had been handed was supposed to be used in service of their own. And I failed at that job purposefully. I'm going to add one more thing to that you said later in the book, but I was like, this idea of being useful to the powerful people in the room that were already there. You said later, and this is on a different storyline, but it dovetails. You said, I'm sick of white people telling me I have to remain in unhealthy workplaces, unhealthy worship spaces, unhealthy towns in order to save them. Everywhere I go, I'm told I should sacrifice myself for the possibility of whiteness getting its shit together. And then you finished this chapter by saying, we do not exist to save white people from themselves. I want to hear you talk more about that. I want to hear you talk about your experience and what you know to be true and what you have said, I am literally not doing this again. I'm not doing this anymore.
I grew up in an era that we called racial reconciliation, right? Racial justice was like a little too hard.
That's right. Oh my God, you are so right. That was the going term.
Right? That was the going term.
It sure was.
We're not doing justice, right? But we will do some reconciliation, right? We'll get on the same page. We'll be friends. We'll hang out in community together, right? That was the era in which I was raised, right? Raised in terms of as an educator. Which meant, though, that Black people had to be in service of that reconciliation, right? It implied that there were two people who had both done wrong and both, right, needed to come together. They needed to work hard to come together, right? And the way that was often phrased for people of color, not just Black folks, but people of color, was that we needed to teach, we needed to offer grace, we needed to bend over backwards, we needed to touch hearts and minds, endless patience, we needed to watch our tone, we needed to be open and inviting. It was all about what we needed to do for white folks.
That's right.
And eventually, Jen, I realized, I really thought when I was like up speaking, giving a diversity talk, doing a training, whatever, that if I could get white women to cry, that I had moved them.
Oh boy. You didn't know those tears came cheap and easy.
I didn't know, girl. We didn't have terms like white tears yet. Okay.
Those were at the ready.
We didn't have those terms, girl. So I didn't know. I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
That we thought the tears was the last stop, not the beginning of the journey.
That's right.
Right? And so I realized that I was making myself sick.
Yeah.
I realized that I was making all the people of color in the room reveal their scars. I was asking them to cut themselves open to prove their humanity, right? Like I just saw the injustice of the way we had set up this framework for diversity and coming together and belonging. And I had experienced it in enough places, right? Enough workplaces, enough worship spaces, enough trainings, right? To eventually decide I cannot do this way anymore. I cannot do this work in service to white people. I must do this work in service to Black women. Right? And let me say, that's personal for me. Right? There are other people who do this work in service of folks who are queer. There are others who do it in service of folks who are immigrants, right? And all those are valid and beautiful, and I'm grateful, right? But for me, I must do this work in service of Black women, and we do not think of racial justice that way.
That's right. Talk more about that.
We think of racial justice in terms of changing the hearts and minds of white people. And I have decided that is not my work to do. That is y'all's work to do.
That's right.
If I could change your heart and mind, I would have done it a long time ago.
Everyone would have.
Right? And white folks have an obsession with being good without doing good.
That's right.
And it is a thing that I have thought about since college.
God, that is so
there is a need, right? A need to be considered good. I am a good person, right? But you don't have to actually do anything good.
That's right.
Like, how do you know?
That's right.
How do you know that you're a good person?
It's out,
Who told
it's
you
out
that?
there on that outer edge, which you analyze with precision in the book. Like you wrote really powerfully about in that same idea, how institutions or churches or organizations have historically or have wanted to adopt the language of DEI. They want the words of it, the appearance of it, the sound of it, without the substance of it.
It sounds so good.
They'll use the umbrella term belonging, but without doing the real, like the deep rooted work of creating a culture of belonging. But as you mentioned this somewhere in here in one of the stories, conspicuously leaving out words like power.
Hello.
So it is again this appeared to be good without doing good. It's this whole idea. And so okay, here's really where I want you to talk about, because this to me is this this goes exactly with the deepest problem here, the root here. And you called it uninterrogated whiteness.
Yes.
I want you to talk about uninterrogated whiteness, because here's the tricky thing. It's absolutely, as you put, uninterrogated, invisible to so many white people, invisible, unanalyzed, unidentified, uninterrogated,
That's right.
Unprocessed. It
That's
is
right.
crystal clear to Black people. Crystal clear. Uninterrogated whiteness is obvious in every room. I want to read a couple things. Sorry, you're just going to, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here that you said. So
I love it.
here's the first place where you mentioned it in the book. You were talking about Black laughter. Our laughter is a reminder of who they become under the influence of uninterrogated whiteness. Messy, illogical, biased, malicious, bigoted. Whiteness really believes the world belongs only to it, never to us, to all of us. And then I want to add this to it because you said this later. I mean, I didn't just underline this one. I put a star next to it. That's how you know. I was
starred.
like,
Is this my
oh,
star review?
this is the star sentence where you said, Black people, especially Black women, are told we have an attitude problem when what we actually have is insider information. I was like, oh, damn. Because uninterrogated whiteness is crystal clear to you. You have insider information on what
I
that
can
looks
see it
like.
a mile away.
Of course. And so I want to put all of that right to you and say, talk about that. Talk about that.
First of all, there are many symptoms of uninterrogated whiteness, right? And you named a lot of them. I named a lot of them in that list that you just gave, right? But one of the things that is sort of innate to white supremacy and therefore uninterrogated whiteness is a deep belief that you are always right. That whatever thought you are having as an individual is always right.
Yeah.
And consequently, that the thoughts, opinions, and experiences of anyone else is invalid, right? Or less important, or wrong, or right, but it is less. And dare I say the world, but for certain, America, right, has a problem with not believing Black women.
That's right.
They don't believe our intuition, don't believe our experiences, don't believe that we are knowledgeable people, don't believe that we do actually understand systems and structures, don't understand our ability to analyze, don't understand that we are inherent sociologists because we have to be, right? And so we sit in rooms where we are dismissed at best, diminished at worst, because we are not believed to be knowledgeable people about the world and how the world works.
That's what it is. And that is exactly why you eventually say, I'm walking away from trying to do that level of convincing.
I'm done
Yeah.
convincing.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your own aha moment.
Yeah.
I can't do that work for you.
That's right.
I can't do that work for you.
And the onus has been put on Black people forever. Tell me how to do better. Teach me about it. Teach,
It is the number one question that I get when I finish a workshop or training from white people. The number one question I get is, can you tell me what I should go do?
Yeah.
I'm like, hi, what's your name?
That's right.
How am I going to, I don't.
No. Yeah.
I don't know your name, let alone what work you should or should not be doing in the world. I cannot fix this for you.
That degree of social and internal
That's right.
laziness.
That's right.
It's just not okay. It is not, it's actually not hard to learn.
It's harmful.
It's not hard to learn.
That's right.
Give me a subject.
The number of resources, right? There are things in the world that are hard to learn.
You're right.
Right.
Or it's thin material. There's not enough to find.
Right.
You'll fill a library. So it's not hard to learn. So
it's not.
This
it's just
lack
hard
of
work.
It's hard work.
It's hard work.
So this lack of will to do that personal hard work
That's
wants a
right.
shortcut
That's
from
right.
our Black leaders. Give me the shortcut. Just give me the quick thing to do so that
Yeah.
it's the appearance of good,
Yeah.
And so it's much deeper than that. And it's white people's problem. And they're going to have to do the work. There's no amount of brilliant analysis you can put in front of a white audience. There's not even
right.
an amount of personal stories you can
That's right.
tell to give them the will to
Jen, I have
overcome
tried.
their white supremacy. There isn't.
I have tried.
Of course you have. You did it for a decade.
I spent the first
Yeah.
5 to 7 years
Yeah.
of my justice seeking career trying to convince, believing that if I just said the words in the right order,
That's right.
right, that
Oh,
if I bared my
Jeez.
pain enough, that if I came with enough statistics, that if I asked all the marginalized people in the room to share the same story,
Totally.
right? Like I tried all the tricks. And still, the only people who continued to participate in the work were those who didn't need any of that in the first place.
Wow. I really learned some things from you in this book. I was really impressed by your capacity that you have developed, that you have created and nurtured and developed to absolutely walk away from whatever it is. In some cases, like we start out in the book, it's a whole job. So that was
right.
the entirety of your whole career. In other cases, it's smaller. Here's an invitation to speak.
Yes.
It's
I'm
just
not going.
Either way, big or small, your capacity to ask really clear, smart, discerning questions.
That's right.
Process what you hear back and decide almost on the spot. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
No,
because
thank
you could. Like there was a couple of times, particularly when you were telling the story about, I'm going to get it a little bit wrong, but an event wanted you to come. Oh, they wanted slides. Right. They wanted slides. They just wanted slides.
What is it? What white people in PowerPoint presentations? I don't understand.
Somebody help us.
Why is this the height of like expertise?
I can't help you understand that. But
I don't understand.
This was apparently going to be evidence of your expertise.
That's right.
And it wasn't your process. It wasn't your style. It wasn't your presentation dynamic. And you explained this clearly. And they kept saying it. And you could have said, shit, you know what? Guess what? I'll put together 4 slides for you. Okay.
And I almost did.
You could have done it.
I almost did. I was this close to being like, because there is this, right? Like I do want to be of service. I do want to be helpful.
Of course you do.
I really do. And if like 3 slides will help you, then sure.
But that wasn't the point.
It was not the point.
I know.
And when this is where it went off the rails, because I was this close to saying yes. I said, I guess I did say yes, right? I said, if I do that, I need you to know that it's possible I won't follow them.
That's right.
Right? Like I could make it and they could be there, but please don't expect that I am going to tailor whatever it is that's going to happen in that room to these. And they lost their shit. And I was like, then you don't need me.
And you
need
were already
else.
Speaking to a panel of white people who had a problem with their executive leadership with such a high degree of employees of color and a 0 degree of executives of color. So already, I think what I want to hear you say is, or what I'm asking you is, I know it's not this crystal clear. It's not this obvious, but what's your internal metric when you are faced with an opportunity? Are there sometimes you go, I'm going to move into this space for this, and this reason. And there's other times where you go, this is a deal breaker. And I'd rather live in my car than earn a living in this way. I'm not sure if it's that cut and dried for you, but I was really, really moved by the level of integrity that you maintained, even if these people are like, we want to write you a big check to come do this. And you were still like, I'm not coming.
No, thank you. Yeah, there is an integrity that I find comes with being full of myself, right? I find that there's an accountability that comes with being full of
That's
myself,
good.
right? There is a power that comes with being full of myself. And there is a lack of needing to please anybody
So
else because I'm full of me. I'm really good company to myself.
Yeah.
Right. And so when, as soon as I begin to fill myself up, I don't want to be emptied. Right. There's a cost to the emptying. It is not fun. Right. So I say yes to the event. And then all I want to do is take a nap. I don't even check my bank account to see if the money has arrived because it doesn't actually feel worth it. Right. The emotional toll, the mental fatigue, whatever is happening to my body that I'm not even aware of, right, is so costly. And I get tired of paying the cost.
That's good.
Right. Not when I have my own power and my own voice.
That's right.
And that there are other people who do exist who could give you exactly what you want.
Sure.
Right. It's not that what you want is bad. But let me give you a list of 5 women who do it that way. And they would be, and it would be a good match. It would be an actual good fit.
I appreciate you mentioning, because this is a good segue, the physical toll that operating out of alignment takes on a body. Because the whole back, maybe third, is so lovely. It's about embodiment. And I just loved reading it. I loved reading what you have learned and are learning about living in your body and what you deserve. I have 1,000 things to say about it, but I really loved the way, this is going to sound to the listeners like it's a record scratch, but it's not. All of it goes together.
Yeah.
Because also to your structure, you love yourself when you're embodied, but you're not supposed to.
That's
right. Right. Black women were
in this Black girl's body.
That's right.
No, ma'am.
No, never.
No, she is not supposed to love herself.
Right. Exactly. And so the way that you talked about pregnancy and postpartum was really profound. And it felt so true and tender and honest. And then you even segued to here, let me put some little treasures in your hand. These are some things to actually think about your body after that baby comes. Just every bit of it, I'm like, where was this? I just found it really lovely. And I'd like to hear you talk about that section, about what it was like to write it, what it was like to live it, what it was like to learn it. And if you're comfortable talking about it, I'd like to hear you talk more about your kidney disorder, because I'm putting too many things in one question. I hear myself doing it, and I'm just sorry. Because the last thing I want to put onto that section is your analysis of the cost of white supremacy.
That's right.
On a Black body.
That's right.
So, there. Good luck. Good luck.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is I definitely understand how this could feel like, whoa, like, weren't we just talking about like the workplace and institutions? And now we're talking about like your body, like what happened here, right? And it's because the institutions just changed, right? So we're not necessarily talking about a workplace, but we are talking about what it means to go to a doctor.
Absolutely.
What it means to go to a hospital.
That's right.
What it means, right? You know what
Black
I mean?
Black maternal stats in the United States.
Hello.
We've just switched over here.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I'm going to talk about being full of myself, then I can't just talk about the workplace. Right? I also have to talk about my body. I also have to talk about emotions. I also have to talk, right? I have to talk about all of these things if we're going to talk about what it really means to be full of myself in a whole human capacity, right? And so there's a lot about embodiment because I was a girl who really likes living in my head. I feel really strong, like mentally, right? Give me a problem and I will solve it. My body, on the other hand, is like, ooh, girl, you want me to do what?
Totally.
You want me to feel what? Let's not do that. let's not do that.
Let's just
Right?
route back around up to the brain.
Yeah, like let's just come back. Let's come back here.
think
Everything
our
is
way through
fun
it.
up here, you
Yeah.
know? And so it was very difficult for me. Being pregnant was the first time that I was forced to be in my body constantly and consistently.
Yeah.
I could not revert to my head
Yeah.
because my belly was growing and he was pushing on my bladder and my feet were swollen and like I could not ignore my body, right? And so it was a profound experience for me because I was so actively living in my head. And so it became really important to me in the book, right, to dive back into what I was feeling then. It was really important to me. And that jarring experience, right? I've gotten a little bit better at it now. But then it was such a jarring experience. And race doesn't disappear when I've left the workplace or a worship space.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So I am also a Black woman who is pregnant. I am also a Black woman navigating the healthcare system. I am also a Black, right? So I'm sitting in an appointment, supposed to be talking about the child that I'm about to deliver. And my nurse asks, so where do you guys live? And we tell her what neighborhood we're living in. And we say, but we're actually thinking about moving to Detroit. And she says, oh, but you can't leave.
Yeah.
You can't leave. It's so important. Like the diversity you bring is so important here. I'm like, ma'am, can we talk?
That's right.
Can we talk about the child that
That's right. Can you do your job?
I didn't come
Let's
here,
talk about this baby.
I'm not asking for your advice on whether or not I should move or not.
That's right.
Ma'am.
Also, you're not my boss. You can't tell me I can't move. That was that
Why?
quote that I said earlier. You don't have to
Why?
stay.
Why do you think that you know better for me than I know for me?
Sure. You're like, you
Right?
don't even know my last name.
You, girl, get it together.
Yeah.
Put your hair back up in that butterfly clip and talk to me about this child. What is going on? Right?
Yeah.
So even as I am scared about having my first child, I am having to defend to the nurse who's supposed to be taking care of me, right? So that's why we have to talk about the body, right? Because I am a Black woman everywhere that I go.
That's right.
In every circumstance, people are reacting to the political reality that I am a Black woman sitting in front of them.
That's right.
And that is taking a toll. I believe with my whole heart that my chronic kidney disease is partially hereditary. I have confirmed that with doctors, right? That there is something I inherited, but what I inherited does not cause chronic kidney disease to the degree that I have it, right? There are sort of varying levels on how what's hereditary impacts you. And I am absolutely convinced that talking about racial justice for as long as I have, as much as I have, and in the context in which I have, has absolutely impacted my body and caused my chronic kidney disease to be worse.
I believe you.
I am absolutely convinced of that. And I think it's not just me, right?
Sure,
I think it is happening. There are chronic illnesses that we associate with Black women pretty easily. Fibroids, right? That there are certain things that you hear them and you're like, yeah, I think Black women, right, maybe struggle with that more statistically, right? But I think there's a whole host of things that we do not associate with Black women at all. And I think it's chronic kidney disease. I think it's migraines. I think it's, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a whole host of chronic illnesses that Black women have to hide or are simply not given, like, not even that we're necessarily hiding, but people don't even think about it. They don't even think about it, right? The assumption is that we are impenetrable.
That's right.
That we are a tool and we just keep the machines going.
And the data also says that when you do go to the doctor, they don't believe you.
and they don't believe us.
And they don't test you as you should be, or they don't follow up, or they just don't believe you because you're not allowed to be vulnerable physically.
One of the things that I share about in the story is when I had to go get a procedure done for my chronic kidney disease. And in the recovery, I don't get my own room because it wasn't, the procedure wasn't that serious that I needed my own room. So I'm in this open space where we are just connected by curtains. And across from me, I can hear a Black woman begging a doctor to take her pain seriously. Begging. And I can hear the white doctor talking to her as if she is a toddler who is just throwing a temper tantrum.
Yes.
And it was a profound moment for me because I want to save her. Like I want to intercede. I want to advocate for her, but I'm not supposed to get out of my bed because I have just had a procedure done. So now what do I do? How do I protect my body and hers at the same time? Right? And that's so much of what the Black woman's experience is, right? We are trying to protect our own bodies at the same time as we are trying to protect the bodies of others.
Totally. I don't know if you can talk about it, but it was after that experience. I think you reached out to Tarana. Was it Tarana?
I did. Tarana Burke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here I found it. It was Tarana. And I actually loved that you did this. This was another thing I learned from you. I'm like, you slid into her DMs and you're
Girl,
like,
let me tell you.
I think
I know.
My
right. I didn't send out a million DMs, right? I thought there is a Black woman who has been doing movement work for a long time.
That's right.
Who has been really open about how she has become sick over time.
Yeah.
And connecting those two things. So even though I feel a little crazy, I'm going to reach out and just see what she says.
Her response to you was really beautiful. It got a star. Because she said this to you, and there was plenty she said that you kind of kept behind the firewall, but she really nurtured you and counseled you and saw you and believed you, which is a huge part of it. But she said, first of all, here's what you said. Holy shit. You said, talking about the work. I feel awful for saying this, but I think I have to do this work differently. I think it could kill me. I'm committed to the struggle. I don't mind living for it, but I don't want to die for it.
That's right.
And she said back to you, finding joy, finding what's on the other side of resiliency is also movement work. Save your life.
My God.
That is so powerful.
I have goosebumps cry just listening to you read it back to me.
That is so powerful.
So emotional.
How did that feel to get that message back? To have someone say, save your life. That also is the movement.
I really, when I tell you that I felt tremendous amount of guilt even writing those words out.
Gosh.
Because this is the other paradigm of being a Black person in this work is everybody's supposed to be king.
All in, yeah.
Right? You're supposed to be willing to be a martyr. You're supposed to be willing to die. You're supposed to be willing to give your all. You're supposed to be, right? You are supposed to be all in all the time with everything you've got. I said, Tarana, I'll live for it. I enjoy it. I enjoy this work. This joy, it brings me life, this work. I said, but I don't want to die for it.
Yeah.
And for her to do two things. One, to give me permission to save my life, right? But also to connect that to the justice work, right? She could have said to me, Austin, you've done enough justice work. Go live your life.
Opt out.
Go on. I give you permission, right? Here's your permission, right? But instead, she says, listen, you becoming whole, you experiencing joy, that's also what our ancestors fought for.
Oh, it's so good.
Hello?
That's so good.
That's also what they fought for.
Yeah.
To not have to toil all the time is what they fought for. To not have to work all the time is what they fought for. To not have to be disrespected everywhere you go is what they fought for.
Right.
To be able to buy a home wherever you want is what they fought for. To be able to, right? On and on and on. These are the things that are also a part of our legacy of the freedom work. And that's also the problem with making freedom work about white folks.
Yeah.
Because we miss all the things that are important that we get and do for ourselves that have very little to do with what white folks are doing.
That's so good. That's such a paradigm shift, and this is gonna mean so much to so many people.
I hope so, girl.
The impact of this is gonna be huge.
I hope so.
Wrapping it up,
Yeah.
knowing that you have shifted your like beautiful work toward being in service of Black women. I would love to hear any parting words to the Black women who are listeners of this show, who are tired. You mentioned this at the beginning. Just tired.
That's right.
Just tired.
That's right.
So damn tired.
Yep.
Of everything. Explaining themselves, defending themselves, over functioning, shrinking.
Yes.
Laughing at white people's jokes that aren't funny.
That's right.
Just some words for them. Words for these tired listeners.
If I had one fear in writing this book, it was that my own privilege would make it inaccessible, right, to the number of Black women that I want it to be accessible to. So we discussed me turning down a job, right? Or at least putting one at risk, right? Sitting in an interview and giving the wrong answer, right? Knowing I might not get this job because I just gave the wrong answer.
Yeah.
And that is a privilege, right? Not all Black women get to be able to give the wrong answer.
That's right.
Some Black women need that next job, right? Need the one that they got the interview for, period. And so I want to say to any and all Black women readers that I see you, and I see you in the circumstance that you're in.
That's good.
And I want you to live in the agency that you have and decide to grow it. So maybe you can't do, right? Maybe you can't say no to the job. Maybe you have to give the answer that you have to give, right? But what is the next way that you can advocate for yourself? Can you take all of your vacation, sis? Right? Can you take all of your sick days? Right? Can you say no to being on the committee?
That's good.
Right? What are the ways in which you can start to become full of yourself in light of all the systems and structures that are set to diminish us? Right. Because I hope that is part of what makes Full of Myself different from a lot of other books, and that I am not in any way suggesting that I have overcome racism.
Right.
Or sexism. I don't ignore those things in this book. I don't pretend like they're not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, I've tried very hard to root this book in the systems and structures that set up to diminish us. And I so want to be a part of the journey that Black women are taking to begin to reclaim themselves in whatever ways work for them. Reclaim, sis. That's what I want to say. Wherever you can start, but start reclaiming yourself.
I'm excited for you, excited for your readers, excited for my listeners who will be your readers. Very proud of you. I just
Thanks, honey.
You just left it all on the table.
I try.
I can tell that you did.
This one was a lot.
I can see that it was. This is a labor of love, and it's gonna it's gonna matter. It comes out August 26th, you guys, and you can get it anywhere. Is there a place that you love people to get it? Do you care about this? Do you have a landing home? Okay.
No, go to your independent bookstore and have a blast.
Yeah. I love this. Perfect. And then just for anybody who doesn't know, and we'll round all this up for
Yeah.
the listening crew, best places to follow you, to find your other work, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would start with the gram. Instagram is sort of my hub for announcing all the other things. So
Yeah.
there's a newsletter, there's a website, there's other things. But if you just go to Instagram, Austin Channing, good place to start.
Good place to start. We'll put that link up for everybody. Okay. Well, yeah, you.
Thanks so much, hon.
I'm so delighted to, bang the drum for you when this book comes out. And let's
I really appreciate
let's send it around the horn. And it's beautiful. You should be so proud. And also, who wouldn't pick this cover up? Who? I would see this across a room.
Right?
Yeah, I love it.
I just hope that between the words, right, the sort of internal rebellion,
yeah,
and that bright purple, I'm just done with the muted colors of
no,
this work is so
right. Let's just go off. Even the font, it has a whimsy to it that it is indicative of so much joy that is in here. I want everybody to know that. Yes, Austin absolutely just dissects all these lingering and pervasive places of white supremacy and racism and unexamined whiteness. And also there is joy and laughter and embodiment and goodness and life and love. It's you've managed to run the gamut. I don't know how you did it. But I hope you took a vacation when you send in the final edits. There's just nothing like sending that book in where you're like, take her.
Woo!
Take her. Send her to press. Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Thanks for having me, friend.
Happy to see you. I love you. Okay, you guys. I can't wait for you to have this book when it comes out. You're going to be moved by it. I read it in one afternoon. I read it all day yesterday. So, I'm still thinking about so many things that she said. And I feel like I really learned some key things from her in Full of Myself. So we are going to round all this up for you. So if you go over to Jen Hatmaker under the podcast tab, first of all, I'll have show notes. I'll have links to the book. I'll have links to Austin's social channels, all that. Also, you can leave a voicemail for us if you'd like to say, hey, here's something I heard today, or this is a question I have, or this is something I'm learning in this conversation of anti-racism, or here's something that, really moved me today. We love it. We listen to every voicemail you leave us. You'll see it. There's a big send voicemail button. It's very simple. Just hit it and leave us a little message. And some of those will make it onto the show. So anyway, thanks for listening today. I'm so glad that you're here. It always is so meaningful to me to bring conversations like this one to the show. And so thanks for downloading and thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.